Hello again. So he knew he had to fix the wall. He, so he balled up his fist, right, and pushed it into the hole to stop the little stream of water. He was proud and happy that one little boy could hold back the sea. He knew his mother would soon send people to look for him because he would be worried. As darkness fell, Hans' hand became very cold and tired, and his arm began to ache. He had to force himself to keep standing on his tired legs. He took, Hans thought how important it was to hold back the water of the sea. As Anne stood in the cold rain by the tide, he thought about the warmth of the fireplace. Then he thought how it was going to feel to lie down in his snug bed. Okay, he kept thinking about warm places. When Hans didn't come home that evening, his mother began to worry. Even while the rain was falling, she kept looking out the door. She kept looking out the door. At last, she decided that Hans must have waited out the storm at Mr. Van Norton's, and it must have been too dark for him to come by himself alone. After looking out the door, she closed up the house and went to bed, but she couldn't sleep. Why? Okay. Early the next morning, Mr. Van Norton was walking to Hans' home. He wanted to thank Hans and his mother for the very tasty food. And when he came to where Hans was, holding his fist in the hole to block the water, he was trembling with cold. Hans' arm was hurting with the effort of keeping his fist in the hole of the dike. Still, Hans had no hold to hold firm for just a little while longer. Mr. Van Norton ran into town to get help. "Don't worry, Hans," said Mr. Van Norton. "I'll be back in a jiffy. You're doing a great job. Just hang on a little longer." Soon Mr. Van Norton returned with someone to take care of Hans and some materials to repair the dike. Hans was wrapped in blankets and carried home, and he was put to bed and given warm broth to drink. His mother rubbed his fingers and his stiff legs. Word quickly spread through the town of how Hans had held back the sea all by himself. The townspeople were very curious. They went to the dike to see the hole that Hans had bravely kept plugged. As soon as Hans felt strong enough, he and his mother went back to the dike to see the repairs that were being made. Everyone in town was overjoyed to see Hans. They thanked him for holding back the mighty sea and for saving them from what would have otherwise been a terrible flood. The mayor of the town presented Hans with a medal to honor his dedication, and all the townspeople cheered loudly. We should clap too. Hans would forever after be remembered as what? As a hero. Years later, even after Hans was all grown up, people still called him the little boy with a big heart and big courage. Just like the boy from the north wind. So when we learn that when Hans discovered a leak in the dike that held back the sea, he knew it had to be stopped. Because he couldn't find help, he plugged up the leak himself and stood his ground for hours and hours. Even though it was dark and cold in the storm, Hans knew that he was the only person who could keep the town from being washed away. That kind of dedication is called perseverance. And as I told you in the beginning, perseverance means sticking with something even when it gets difficult. It helps us get through hard times so that we can accomplish great things. I I hope you enjoyed the story. I enjoyed sharing it with you. It's always great to see you all. See you soon with another interesting tale. Bye bye.